Dear students, welcome to Computer Science class. In today's class, Computer Science, Grade 6, Chapter 1, chapter name is Computer Fundamentals. In this chapter, we can learn about what is hardware, what is software, and how the IPO cycle will work, and we can see different types of memory units, and we can learn different types of classification of computer, but it is based on the size. Introduction about hardware and software. Understand about IPO cycle, working of CPU. These three topics we will see in this class. Okay, so before going to this, first you have to learn what is computer. A computer system is defined as combination of components designed to process data and store files. That means a computer, it is a combination of various parts. For example, monitor, CPU, keyboard, mouse, webcam and all. So these different types of components, we have to process some data and we can get the output, and also we can store our files in the computer. For that, a computer system requires hardware, software and a user to fully function. So when a user wants to give a data to the system, for that we need a hardware. Then when that process will be done inside that, we need some software. These two will process who? These two will collectively process who means user. See, in this picture, a hardware and a software, both they fully function by the user. So a computer system requires hardware, software and the user to fully function. Okay, so students, a computer needs both hardware and software. Okay, and about the computer, a computer helps us to do our work with easy, whether it is solving a difficult mathematical puzzle or designing purpose. Any difficult calculation computer can do very easily. Okay, any difficult. If you want any design, computer can do very easily. So computer are made up of two main components. Computer are made up of two main components. One is hardware and software. I will show it. Okay. See, computer, that computer needs two things. One is hardware and the another one is software. Now we will see about hardware. What is hardware? Now hardware. The physical parts of a computer are called hardware. Physical part of the computer. Physical part of the computer means we can touch, we can see. That parts is called hardware. For example, you can touch the monitor, you can touch the keyboard, you can touch the webcam, you can touch the printer. Like that, a physical part of a computer are called hardware. You can see and touch all the hardware parts. So you can touch all the hardware parts. Hardware can be further classified as three things. One is input device, output device and process device. Okay, so these three things are there. So the hardware is further classified into three things. One is input device, output device and processing device. In this picture, I show some pictures. No, these are the main parts of the computer. Okay, these are the main parts of the computer. See, monitor are there, CPU box is there, CPU is there, mouse is there, keyboard is there, printer is there. Without CPU, monitor will not work. So these things are the main parts of the computer. So I already told the physical part of the computer are called hardware, that we can see and touch is called hardware. Okay, Kanna. The next one, some hardware parts like keyboard, mouse, monitor, printer, speakers are visible outside the CPU box. So these and all outside of the CPU box. Some parts are there that is inside your CPU box. Okay, some parts are there that is inside, that you can see inside the CPU box. Okay, so what are they? Hard disk, CD drive, motherboard, SMPS and memories, etc. So in this picture you just see in the right hand side, hard disk is there, CD drive is there, the next one is SMPS is there, and this side see CPU, that is the processor. It's only processor. The next one is RAM. This is a memory part of the computer. The next one is motherboard. Okay, so these are the internal part of the computer. Now see, I told in the right hand side, the third part SMPS, that SMPS means the expansion is switched mode power supply. The expansion of SMPS is switched mode power supply. That means it supply power to all the device present inside the computer. So this will give supply to all the devices which are inside the computer. Okay, Kanna? So like that, some hardwares that we can see outside, keyboard, mouse and all you can see in the outside. No, these and all you can see in inside only. Okay, the next one is a student asking his brother, when we are clicking the start button, all the programs and many more names are displayed. Okay, so you itself, when you click the start button in your desktop, so many icons and all there. Yes, so what is that? That boy's brother telling, that only software, that only software. Now software means what? Software is a set of instruction. Software is a set of instruction. It tells hardware what to do. You know, hardware means it is a physical part of the computer. We have to connect all the parts. But how it works? The software will give the instruction for that hardware thing what they have to do. So that's only software is a set of instruction that tells hardware what to do. It shows on the desktop in the form of an icons. They have so many softwares. You are playing games, you are using internet and all, no? So that and all software icons, that is the instruction. In this software you cannot touch anything. Okay, you cannot touch anything, but in hardware you can touch and you can see, but in software you cannot touch and you can see but you cannot touch. It is in the monitor, that means it is in your desktop screen only. Okay, I have to show some softwares. See the examples of software. The first icon is computer. What is the first icon? Is computer. The next one is recycle bin. This is the dustbin. Whatever file you are deleted, no, that files and all goes in that dustbin. That is called recycle bin. The next one is folder. You have to create any files means you have to keep some folders. The next one is network. Network means you have to connect the internet. The next one is also a folder. So these are the examples of software. Okay, Kana? So computer is classified into two. One is hardware and the another one is software. Here hardware is the physical part of the computer, but software is a set of instruction. Okay. The next one here, hardware we can touch, but software we cannot touch. Okay. Now we have to go for our next topic. Okay, our next topic, how does the computer works? So before you know what is hardware and software, hardware means physical part and software means set of instruction. Okay, now a computer takes the data as an input, process it according to the instruction and then gives an output. So computer takes an input. First we have to give the instruction as an input, then the process will do some according to what we have to give, then they will give the output. These entire process we called as a IPO cycle. What called? IPO. According to the IPO cycle, all devices of a computer are classified into three categories. All this IPO cycle category, it will divided into three stages. It will divided into three stages. The first stage is input stage. Stage 1 is input stage. Stage 2 process stage. And stage 3 is output stage. So it will contain three stages. So the entire process, when we have to give the instruction, the process will do according to our instruction, then they will give us an output. That process name is called IPO cycle. Next, we see the diagrammatic representation of IPO cycle. So IPO cycle contains three stages. Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Stage 1 is the input stage. Stage 2 is process stage. And stage 3 is output stage. So I refers input, P refers process, O refers output. Now see here, input will goes to the process, then process goes to the output. Once again the output goes to the input. Sometimes the output will act as an input for the other action. Okay, sometimes when we get some output, that output will take some other action as an input. So these are the IPO cycle diagrammatic representation. On the right hand side, I have to put some storage, no? That is, when after processing, we have to say to save the file. That file, it will store in the storage device. Okay. So the next we can see the first stage of input device. The first stage of input device. The data and instruction are fed into the computer through the input devices. So data and instruction are fed into the computer through the input devices. Example, keyboard, mouse, microphone, etc. So we have to give the instruction to the computer, that is called input, that is input stage. The second stage is process stage. The processing device, that is CPU, carries out the instruction on the given data. So in the processing device, the CPU carries the instruction. What gives? Input stage. Input stage give the instruction that will do in process stage. For example, take two numbers. I said to add. For example, 2 plus 3. Okay, 2 plus 3. The user give the instruction by using input device. Okay, so 2 plus 3. The process will do the addition, that is 2 plus 3. Okay, that is the process of the addition. The next one is third stage, that is output stage. Output is produced after processing the data. The output is displayed on the output device. Example, monitor, printer, projector and plotter. So before I said no, when we add 2 plus 3, I give as the input 2 plus 3. It will goes to the process stage. The process will do the addition of that two number and the result will give to the output device. So 2 plus 3 is 5. So input is 2 plus 3. The process is doing 2 plus 3. What's the answer? It will shows the output device. Here some examples I show. Monitor, you know. Printer also you know. The projector, it is in your classroom, that you also know. Plotter, plotter is like a printer but it has a big printer. That printer name is called plotter. A banner and all, they take a printout, no? That is plotter hardware. That plotter hardware only, they have to take the banners and all. Now I will show some examples of the IPO cycle. You can know easily. Before you see some output devices, monitor or LED monitors, printer, speaker, headphones, sound card, plotters and projectors. These are some hardwares. That means these are some output devices. Hardware has three categories, no? Input, output and process. In the output devices, these are the some output devices. Now let's see the examples. See example of the IPO cycle. A basket. Okay, in this basket, dirty cloths are there. I have to wash in the washing machine. So I have to put this dirty cloth into the washing machine. Then process will be doing. Then I will get a neat cloths. Yes, dirty cloths washed. So here the input is dirty cloth. The process is input. So here fruit is an input, mixture is a processor and you will get the juice is an output. So this is an example of IPO cycle. So I refers input, P refers processor and O refers output. So this is the process of IPO cycle. The next one we will see the working of CPU. How the CPU will works. CPU. Here C stands for central, P stands for processing and U stands for unit. So the expansion of CPU is central processing unit. So here it is act as a brain of the computer. It acts as a brain of the computer. So the CPU has two main components. The CPU has two main components. One is ALU unit. The another one is CU unit. Here ALU unit. Here the expansion of ALU is arithmetic and logic unit. A refers arithmetic and L refers logic. U refers unit. AL unit. It is responsible for all the arithmetic and logic operators. It responds for all the arithmetic logic operators. So addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, not equal to, these and all comes under the arithmetic operators. The next one, logic operators are and, or, not. So these are the arithmetic and logic operators. The ALU performs the calculation and send it back to the memory. If we have to give any calculation, that will goes for AL unit and they will calculate, and once again it will send back to the memory. The next one is CU unit. C means here the expansion of C is control, U is unit. So the expansion of CU is control unit. It is responsible for controlling and guiding the operation within a computer processor. So it will controls the every action. So inside the CPU it will controls the every action. So it acts as a traffic controller. It acts as a traffic controller. Example, if two users are there, a user 1 will give the input first, the user 2 next they will give the instruction, but the control unit takes the user 1's data only. Then only it will takes the user 2 data and it will gives the output user 1, then it will gives the output of user 2. If user 2 will gives first means the control unit will takes the user 2's data only. So traffic controller act as a signal, that means it will controls everything the user 1 gives. If user 2 gives means they will calculate and they will take the who will give first, that data will be processed. So this is called control unit. So CPU means central processing unit. It is the brain of a computer. It has two types. One is ALU, the another one is CU. Here the expansion of ALU is arithmetic and logic unit and CU is control unit. Here the diagrammatic representation of central processing unit. Did you see? Arithmetic and logic unit. Input device, it will gives the arithmetic and logic unit, it will goes from the memory or it will takes from the memory and it will gives the output device. Here control unit act as a traffic controller. It will gives one by one. It will gives the signal one by one to process the data. So this is the diagrammatic representation of CPU. Thank you.